phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
A couple months ago, when spring ball was officially drawing to an end for college football, I made a video about 5 freshmen to look out for the 2022 college football season, as they could have some impacts on the teams that they're on. I will leave the link to that video down in the description below. In today's video, I am going to be doing something similar, this time with 5 different freshmen heading into 2022 that you should keep a lookout for, as they could be making some big immediate impacts in 2022. As usual, before I move on, remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get into it. The first player that I'm going to be talking about in today's video is Penn State running back Nick Singleton. In the 2022 recruiting class, according to 24/7 Sports Composite Rankings, he was a 5-star and the #1 running back in the nation. He held a total of 34 offers coming out of high school, and he would end up choosing Penn State. Something to note about his high school career, in 2021, he was the Gatorade National Player of the Year after having a great season where he rushed for over 2,000 yards and had 41 total touchdowns on the ground. When talking about Penn State and their running back room in 2021, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't necessarily up to the standard that they've had recently with some of the great running backs that have gone through Penn State. Kevon Lee was their main workhorse running back. He had 108 rushing attempts for 530 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Singleton was an early enrollee for the Nittany Lions this past spring, and word around town is that he's going to have a phenomenal fall, and he's going to be much involved with the offense. He already has the size, and you know he's going to be adding more to his frame, which is already good for a running back, especially coming in. And I do believe that Nick Singleton is going to be a big factor for that Penn State offense in 2022, and maybe potentially he can become one of the best running backs in the Big Ten in just year 1. On to the next player. It is wide receiver at Texas A&M, Evan Stewart. Evan Stewart was one of the top players in this 2022 recruiting cycle. 5-star, #11 player in the nation, and the #2 wideout according to the 24/7 Sports Composite Rankings. He held a total of 37 offers, and he chose Texas A&M over a lot of big-time offers. Stewart is a kind of player that could be making an immediate impact pretty much at any school he could have gone to in the country, and I do believe he's going to have a big role at Texas A&M as a true freshman. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be their lead guy in the passing game, or that he's going to have some crazy, huge freshman season, but I do believe he's going to be involved in that offense in 2022 in some way, shape, or form. He was also an early enrollee for the Texas A&M Aggies, and he had a good spring as well. A&M hasn't had the craziest amount of production with their receiving room this past season, but who knows, maybe Evan Stewart can break the mold and become that breakout receiver for the Texas A&M Aggies. With this next player, we're going to be switching it over to the defensive side of the ball with linebacker Jayshawn Barum. Jayshawn was a 4-star recruit in 2022 and the #10 linebacker in the nation via 24/7 Sports Composite Rankings. He would end up staying in his home state and attending Maryland. When talking about Jayshawn, you have to just look at how good of a player he actually is, how good of a tackler he is, blitzer, he can read the ball well, and he knows where to be at the right time. He has some great size as well heading in as a true freshman, standing in at 6'3", 230 pounds. He's joining a Maryland team that doesn't necessarily have what you would call the best linebacker core, and it is worth noting that he was an early enrollee, so he was with the team during the spring, learning the playbook, getting acclimated with the team, the culture, the coaches, all of that. So I really do feel like he has a really good shot to be a big-time player for that Terrapin defense in 2022, making some kind of impact. Sticking with the defensive side of the ball, on to the next player, we have cornerback Damani Jackson. Jackson was a top 5 player in the 2022 class and the #2 cornerback. He held a total of 39 offers, and he would end up choosing USC. Damani Jackson is definitely one of the best high school prospects in this 2022 class. He has some great size heading into USC, standing in at 6'1", 190 pounds. I mean, that's already some great size to be a Division I starting cornerback and NFL starting cornerback as well. He played against some tough competition at Mater Dei, so he knows what it's like to play against some of the top players coming out of high school. Now, Damani Jackson, he has some real speed, he has size, he plays the game physical, and he knows how to succeed in press, zone, and anything you really put him in, or at least that's what he showed on the high school level, and he has a lot of potential to be a great cornerback on the next level. When talking about USC last season, they had a shaky season to say the least, and when talking about the secondary, they ranked 81st in the nation in passing yards allowed per game, giving up 241.8 passing yards a game. The USC secondary last season also gave up the 103rd worst pass completion per game allowed, as they gave up an average of 65% passing completion percentage per game. Now, how does all this affect Damani Jackson? Now, as you know, USC does have a new head coach, a new staff, and all of that, with new head coach from Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley. And with that being said, everyone is on equal footing with the playbook, the play style, and everything that they're implementing on that defense and offense when spring came. And Damani Jackson was an early enrollee for the USC Trojans, so he was there right when everyone else was learning, and he was getting acclimated with college early and the system. And he had a good spring ball season as well. When looking at the USC defensive back room, it is a mix of transfers and younger college players. Now, Damani Jackson is a cornerback, and I do believe he is going to have a lot of opportunity to play for them in 2022 and be a main cornerback in their system, as you do not want your best players or your best recruits coming in just sitting on the bench when they can make an impact day one. And I really do believe that Damani Jackson can make an impact for USC day one in 2022. With this last player that I have in today's video, I'm going to show the big boys up front some love, this time with offensive tackle at LSU, Will Campbell. Will Campbell in the 2022 class ranked just outside the 5-star ranking as a high 4-star, the number 36 player in the nation, and the number 4 offensive tackle in his class. When talking about the LSU offensive line in 2021, it wasn't exactly the best, especially for passing offense. As when talking about sacks allowed per game, LSU ranked 108th on the FBS Division I level, giving up almost 3 sacks per game at 2.9 sacks allowed per game. When talking about Will Campbell at LSU right now, he was an early enrollee, so he was there the entire spring, and he really made his name known. Of course, he's coming with some good size, good technique, and all of that, standing at 6'6", 300 pounds, and he's already put on some weight, some good weight at that. And, well, let's just say Will Campbell is blowing people away in Baton Rouge, as he's already shaping up to be a starting offensive lineman for LSU in 2022. If he does, in fact, start for LSU in 2022 on that offensive line, that is a very impressive feat as a true freshman playing on the Power 5 SEC level, as it's already really hard to come in as a true freshman and become a starter on any offensive line in the country, whether you're a low-rated recruit or the highest-rated recruit in your class. Well, guys, if you've made it this far in the video, drop something down in the comment section below. What true freshman do you think will make an immediate impact in 2022? And before you head out, remember to smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, and subscribe if you haven't already. B. Kelly out.